All right, what's going on, guys? Liam here, back at it again with another banger for you. In this video, I'm going to be going over the main reason why you can't get clients from your social media channels and covering and breaking down the 3 levels of creative consciousness. This video is going to be a lot more theory-based and a lot less mechanical like some of our other videos. So make sure you put away the Instagram, put away the TikTok, and pay attention for this one because it's going to be super beneficial when you understand and implement, and it's going to sign you 10 times more clients. So without further ado, we'll jump right in and get to it. All right. So, as I said before, diving into the creative conscious matrix and how to use this concept to make more money on your social media channels and sign more clients. So, the premise of this concept is going to be around 2 different aspects of client acquisition. So, one is building trust, and the other is cash flow, right? So their correlation is the more trust you can build with your audience, the more cash flow you are going to bring in and create for your coaching or consulting business. Now, what is made in the trust equation here, right? So what is trust made up of? Trust is equal to conviction, competence, and authenticity. When you have those 3 packed together, you build trust, okay? And cash flow equals trust. So basically this graph is showcasing the direct correlation between trust and cash flow. In short, the more trust you can build on your social media channels and through your personal brand, the more your cash flow is going to increase. So there's 3 levels of creative consciousness that you can have as a creator on your social channels. And I'm going to be explaining the 3 and what they look like and how you can progress through each of these. So without further ado, let's dive into level 1. So level 1 is the social drone, right? So this is someone who's very, very early on in their creative stage, or maybe they've been at it for a while, but they just haven't really tried to learn and implement anything new in order to improve their ability as a creator and improve their personal brand and client acquisition through their social channels. So as I was saying before, the 3 levels that make up trust on social media are competence, conviction, and authenticity, right? Conviction, competence, authenticity. Cool. So level 1, social drone, this creator, really all they do is showcase their competence through how-tos. So you see a lot of these creators, and this might even be you, on their social channels, and all they are is basically just a textbook, right? So it's like, here's how to do this, 3 tips and tricks on how to do this, blah, 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 blah. It's very, very one-dimensional, and they're often not very, they don't speak with a lot of conviction. Maybe they're a little bit nervous, their voice is a little bit shaky, or it's just not smooth, right? It doesn't look like it's natural, and it doesn't look like there's conviction behind what they're saying even. And there's no authenticity. There's no level of self that's being displayed on their channels. There's no level of, actual showcasing who they are on their social channels. It's extremely one-dimensional. It's very robotic. It's just focused on the how-tos. And this does not sign clients, right? This is level 1 on the chart here. As you can see, it establishes the lowest amount of trust, and low trust equals low cash flow. And this is where most people are stuck. Not a lot of people get past this because they don't understand these other 2 elements, and they don't understand how to expand on the competence element. So moving up the chart, this one's pretty straightforward. Moving up the chart here, we got level 2. So this is sitting in the middle. These kind of creators, they can establish a little bit more trust and a little bit more cash flow. So level 2 is what we call a common creator, right? So in terms of their competence, conviction, and authenticity, their competence, they can express the how-tos like we previously mentioned here, but they also can dive into the why and the theory, and they showcase that element in their content. So they're not just talking about here's how to do this, and here's a trick to do this, and here's a hack to do that. They're actually expanding on those concepts and why they're important to do. Or, here's how to do XYZ, and then maybe another video's explaining the why behind that concept is important to implement. So they take their competence expression a level deeper and they can expand on the why and the theory. So this takes their competence up a notch, and that helps build more trust, because they're no longer just a tips and tricks robot. They're no longer just a textbook. They're no longer just a tool. They actually have a little bit more depth in expanding on their own competence, and it helps their audience understand them a little bit further and builds more trust because they're demonstrating more competence. So not only that, but this level 2 creator here, they speak with more conviction. So they speak with strong conviction. They can demonstrate their competence through how-tos, whys and theory-based content, but they can also demonstrate that competence with strong conviction. They're not very robotic, right? They're very fluid in their content. They speak strongly. They've developed that creative muscle, which is, speaking and expressing and articulating on camera very well. And they're able to deliver this information with that conviction. However, they haven't unlocked authenticity. They're still kind of in that one-dimensional lane. They've just expanded it a little bit further. So they've progressed past the walking, talking textbook. And they're better at competence expression, right? They can go a little bit deeper there, and they can express that competence with conviction. So they've built more trust doing that. However, they are still very, very one-dimensional in terms of expressing themselves. So a lot of times what happens when people get stuck at level 2 is they're great at expressing and delivering value around their thing, their niche or their expertise, their industry, but they get people interested in just their thing and not actually themselves. Again, people don't actually get drawn to them. They only get drawn to the thing they talk about, right? Whether that be like the niche, the industry, etc. They haven't unlocked that level of bond that is so important that I'm going to explain in level 3. So they haven't cracked that authenticity pill. And all they do is just dial in these 2 elements here, which is still not bad, but it can be better, which is why they kind of get stuck in the middle here. They've gotten pretty good at building trust. It's not bad, which equates to a little bit more cash flow than level 1 down here, than the social drone, but it's still not the alpha. So let's move on to level 3. So this is the final phase, the final stage. This is where you want to get to if you're putting out any sort of content, but this is the maximum amount of trust, maximum amount of conviction, competence, and authenticity. And this equates to the maximum amount of cash flow. So level 3 is the digital self, and let's break it down. So competence, again, they've got the how-tos down, they've got the why and the theory down, but now they've introduced a third element to their competence, which is urgency and motivation. So they can explain the how-tos. They can show people, how to do the thing. They can explain the why behind the thing. Here's why we do this thing I just showed you how to do. And the third level and the third lever they can pull is urgency and motivation. So why you need to accomplish this task, right? So for example, how-tos. I'm going to use fitness as an example here on the fly. How-tos. How to do a bicep curl, right? That's a video. All right, extend the elbow, bring it up, blah, 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 blah. Cool. The level 1 creator, that's all they get to. That's as far as they go. Level 2 creator, why theory. Here's why we're bending our elbow like this. Because it extends all the way down, we're getting a larger stretch. And because we get that bigger stretch, we're going to tear more microfibers, which is going to give us a bigger pump and make a bigger muscle, right? So now they get that deeper level of competence expression. And level 3, they bring on that urgency and motivation level, which is a little bit higher level. And this would be, why you need to get in good shape, or like get in good shape. It's going to make your life better, blah, 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 blah. Taking that higher level approach as to pushing kind of past their thing and talking about it as a whole, as to why it's important, why people need to take action on this, why people need to do this. And that creates a whole nother level of competence expression. And when you have these three, that is the extreme level of competence. You can show how to do the thing, why you do certain things to accomplish a task, and also express how important it is that as a whole, those objectives need to get completed. Now, the next one, conviction. So level 3, they still have very strong conviction. They can articulate, they can be on camera, they do well. They got that on lock. It's all good. Now, number 3 down here, authenticity. Okay. So this is unlocked on level 3. This is where, level 2 progresses to level 3. And this is where a lot of money can be made. So authenticity, this is spelled wrong, but whatever. We're going to keep rolling. Authenticity, level 3 unlocks this. And they do it doing a couple different things. So the first being, they introduce unique verbiage. So they stay true to themselves and they bring themselves into their content. So when they're going ahead and they're expressing their competence and they're doing it with conviction, now they introduce authenticity into it. And the first one I was mentioning there is unique verbiage. So they'll say, certain words that are true to themselves, or certain phrases, and that'll kind of be their shtick, or like morph their personal brand. So I'll give you an example here. I'm sure most of you guys know Alex Hormozi, right? So Alex Hormozi always talks about, never skip dessert all the time. That has nothing to do with building business, how to build a business, why you need to build a business at all. Nothing to do with it. But it makes him more relatable and people find him more, engaging, right? So how to skip dessert, that's a perfect example. Or like Mosey mobiles, right? Another one he's talked about. So like shitty cars, Mosey mobiles. That has nothing to do with business, but it has everything to do with him and himself. He ties that into his personal brand. And when you do that, it brings this level of relatability that people start to develop when they see your content. So they know you're competent, you express your competence with conviction, but they also begin to like you as a person. So also, they have normal articulation. So a lot of times on social media, you'll see people like screaming into the camera, like, here's 3 ways to do blah, 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 blah. That goes out the window when you become fully authentic, because you express yourself like you would express yourself in a room full of your friends. You talk normally, you speak normally. There's no mask that you're putting on when you're delivering content. And that gets unlocked when you start being extremely authentic. And people can sense that. Like when you scroll on your For You page and you see someone, screaming into the camera, and they're like, here's 3 best ways to do blah, blah, blah. You're like, all right, cool. Like you might stick around for the information, but there's a gut feeling like, this guy's just another one of those guys. Like he's just another creator. But if you speak how you would in normal interactions, think of if you were just speaking in a room full of your friends. If you can speak like that on social media, that unlocks another level of trust, because there's no mask that you have on. It's very natural. And when that natural way of speech is shown to others, they trust you more because it's just more normal. And they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's not a crazy screaming talking head on my For You page. And the third one is sharing opinions and beliefs. So again, up here, these 2 levels, it's primarily focused on the thing. And when I say the thing, I mean the topic within the niche. So whether it's like fitness or whether it's like, lead generation, whatever it is, the competence and conviction is mainly focused on those. But authenticity is more focused on you, the person delivering that information. So when you unlock more authenticity, what you're also going to be doing is sharing your opinions and beliefs. So this is going to add a lot more depth to your personal brand. This is what's going to separate you from everyone else, because at the end of the day, most people can knock on these two here, competence and conviction in their industry. Most people can do that. But what separates those at the very top is they are extremely authentic and they have their own unique verbiage and their own shticks. They speak, as they would in a room full of others, and they share their opinions and beliefs, whether that's world views or whether that's industry views. They share that, and that helps build more character and more draw to themselves and not just their area of expertise. Because when you can get someone to not only trust you for the information that you're delivering, but also like you and trust you as an actual person, that's what's going to put you ahead of everyone else in your niche. That is what's going to be your extreme competitive advantage, is leaning into your authenticity and your authentic self, especially with AI coming, right? And the new wave of AI and all this crazy stuff going on with AI-driven content. This is going to be even more important. Extremely, extremely important. So once you can include all of these elements into your content and into your personal brand on, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, that is when you reach level 3, digital self, which is the mecca, the top tier, the delta of your presence on social media. And that is when you build the most trust. When your conviction is at the highest level, your competence is showcased at the highest level, and you are the most authentic version of yourself in your content and on your socials, that is when your trust becomes the absolute highest. And when your trust with your audience becomes the absolute highest, your cash flow follows and you will make more money, right? So 90% of people get stuck down here. 5 or 10% get stuck here, and then usually about 1% get up here. So this should be your goal. Your end goal should be to be able to speak with the utmost conviction in whatever it is you're talking about, whatever industry or whatever niche you're in, and speak about how to do certain things, why, and the theory behind those things need to be done, and also speak motivationally and showcase urgency around all of these concepts, so you can showcase your competence at the highest level with conviction. And also while you're doing this, bring in elements of yourself and showcase your authenticity. So people are going to trust you for your information, but also begin to trust you for you. So you create this crosshair or cross line of self and information. So level 3, digital self, that's where you want to be. That's where you're going to make the most money. That is pretty much it. That covers the creative consciousness matrix. So that is all for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it was a little bit more theory based, but I really want you guys to think over this concept and think through a lot of those points I brought up, because they're not often talked about, and I've never seen anyone talk about this way of thinking around social media and content. So just kind of absorb it, think through it, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. But I promise, once you guys can reach that level 3 and really become a digital version of yourself, you're going to build the most amount of trust with your audience, and you're going to make the most money. And if you guys want more help scaling your coaching and consulting business, I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description. You guys can go ahead and book a call with Vince and I and our team to see if you guys would be a good fit for our program. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.